former Inspector General of Police, Usman Sonko.
Did any of the other members of the panel react to that?
Yes, I think speaker upon speaker will say that we must see the government as partners. But this particular caution to say we must not talk about what happened to us there comes from the former Inspector General of Police, Usman Sonko.
But did the other security chiefs react to that statement, that you should not talk about what happened to you at the NIA?
All of them said it.
All of them repeated the same caution?
Yeah, all of them said it. In fact, for Harry Sambu, blamed the media for losing his job. He said it was because of your bad reports that I was sacked. I think he was one time director and sacked and then brought back. So he also blamed the media for that, or blame us for that, because at that point we are the two who are representing the media. So meaning that they're saying that our reports are not favorable to government, and we are tarnishing the image of the government.
Did he say anything about your tortures at the NIA?
No. None of them mentioned the tortures, even though they know we were tortured. Nobody mentioned it.
But did he say anything about you disclosing what happened to you at the NIA?
Yeah, they always said we must not talk about what happened to us, but what particularly what they really particularly mean, they didn't say that. They didn't say exactly that you must not talk about these tortures. They always said you must not talk about what happened to you here. But we understood that.
What I am trying to drive at is who actually told you that you mentioned the IGP,
yes,
the former IGP.
Yes.
Did any other member of the security chief also utter those words to you?
The former CDS, Lanta Montamba.
And who else?
I think I can remember these two, but like I said, speakers upon speakers really said similar things. But these two really said it.
So that was intended to cover up what happened to you at the NIA, so that it would not be known to the public?
Yes.
And what happened after that?
What happened after that, when we were released, a few days later, a week or so later, because I am in constant contact with Musa, and he told me that, well, Madi, I think we should leave this country. It's still not safe for us. Like he told me at the NIA that we have to run away, otherwise we'll be killed. And my take on it at that time is, well, I will consider it, but I'm not ready for leaving the country. That later I found out that he left for Senegal, and then later moved to the USA.
And what did you do?
I continued working in the Gambia. I continued as a journalist. Even though my media is shut down, I cannot have access to independent, and there's nothing I can do. So what I did was found the media agenda and continued my work. And as a result of staying in the country and doing the same media work, I think the CPJ, Committee to Protect Journalists, nominated me for an International Press Freedom Award, which award later I won, and then went to US to receive that award in 2007.
7 or 17?
2007.
2007. That was a year later, pretty much.
It was November 2007, yes.
That's right. But were you given a reason as to why, suggesting, therefore, that the issue of the Sambaba publication was just a pretext?
Very well, yes.
Because that was already sorted out? That
was my position.
So it was a pretext to close down the Independent?
The Independent, because I think they just used that to settle scores with us, because the paper was a very independent and critical newspaper. And,
but what is extraordinary is what happened to the actual author of that article.
Well, the actual author, which is Lamin Fati, was also arrested even before we left the NIA. He was also arrested and brought to the NIA.
What, do you know whether he was tortured?
He stayed much longer than... I would have no doubt that during his stay he was tortured. I cannot doubt that at all. In fact,
why don't you doubt
in
that?
fact, if anybody should get the worst treatment in their hands, would have been Lamin, because they will assume that he is the author. And he also stayed there longer than us, I think about 3 months. And later he was dragged to court and was fined $50,000. Even that $50,000, then I was the president of the GPU. We were ready to pay, but they just rushed him to the Mile 2 prisons and asked me to go and get the money when I pay. Go to Italy, but like I said, my colleague said, no, that's not the right thing to do. And I don't want to break my pen, so I decided to start a media agenda, which is a media training and research body. So proposals, I write project proposals, get some fundings and train, short-time training, train journalists a week, 2 weeks, and so on and so forth. And that's how I was surviving until 3 years later. Then I founded Daily News, and I started operating a newspaper again. And then we were closed down in 2011 together with 2 other news media houses, that is Taranga FM and the Standard newspaper.
On this particular occasion, were you arrested?
No, I was not arrested. In fact, when they came to the office, I was at a meeting somewhere at Tango, and Lamin Jai has to call me to say, well, the NIAs are here, and they said we should close down. I said, close down for what? Did they give any reason? He said, no. I said, okay. I suspended the meeting, then they left, had already left. So I joined the staff, and then we meet and discuss around it, and we decided that that particular edition will come out. Whatever may happen, but we'll have to, because we're already working on an edition. So we used that edition to write the story of us being asked to shut down.
But were you served with anything? Were you given any documents to show that there is an order for the Daily News to shut down?
The APIC regime is just like a club. It's not an organized government that can give directives by writing. No, it's just they operate like a club. No letter was given to us, and we just had message that we should shut down, and that's all. And all the media houses that were shut down without any written letters.
Didn't you see the need to ask for a written order?
Yes.
In fact, a court order for that matter, or an order from the minister, if the minister has that power at all.
Under a normal government, a normal and a serious government, you can do that. But this is under dictatorship. This is under dictatorship. They have no regards of procedures. So we had, after that, because they told us that if we want reasons, we should go to the president's office. And I went to the president's office the next Monday, but I couldn't have access. I was referred to the Secretary General, same thing. Later on, we were asked to write to the Secretary General to say we have come to see. Nothing. Then I told them that, look, these operatives are usually from the NIA, so let's go to the NIS. We went to the NIS, we couldn't see the director. I said, look, let's not bother ourselves. Those of you who can find something to do, go and do it, because they will frustrate our efforts. I even went to the point of meeting the then Speaker of the National Assembly, Fatma Jahombo Ceesay, together with Sirif Boja. So we've done all these things to find our reasons, but we couldn't.
Did you make efforts to reopen the paper?
A futile effort, because you cannot even have access to your materials, and there is no way, because under the circumstances, yes, we could have moved to another premises, but we couldn't use the Independence name.
You mean the Daily News?
Oh, you mean the Daily News?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I didn't. What I did was, because the paper has an online version, I keep publishing the online version, because I have not seen anywhere in the laws of the country that you can register an online. For newspaper, yes, you register it. So I continued with the online version, published my stories on the online versions.
Did anybody say anything to you?
They didn't tell me anything. Perhaps that impact is not that much big, so I think they just, or they're ignorant about it, I don't know. But nobody told me anything about it, and I continued publishing the online until 2017 when we come back to the desk.
But how about the actual paper? You never recommenced publishing that paper?
From 2011
yes.
Up to 2017, no. For 5 years, we were out of business. It was after the change of government, then I just started republishing the daily news.
How about the news outlets which were closed at the same time with the daily news, Taranga FM and the Standard?
1 year after our closure, 2012, they allowed the Taranga FM to operate, and they also allowed the Standard to operate.
At what stage did you learn about that?
Immediately, it was the president who made a New Year message that these two media houses were allowed to reoperate.
So they were being forgiven, as if
yes.
they were being done a favor.
Yes. And I was privileged to a letter sent to the Taranga FM, and one of the conditions is if you are reviewing the local newspapers, you must review the Daily Observer and no other newspaper.
Censorship.
Yeah, that one I have seen that copy.
Muslim.
So I don't know what happened to Standard, but then they were also pardoned. For some reasons known to them, the Daily News is not allowed to see the light.
But how did that impact on you and your family?
Very seriously. It was a serious economic loss. Both papers, like the independent newspaper was closed for 2 years, and that was a serious economic loss to the paper and the staff. And the closure of Daily News also has serious impact on my life as a family man. I have wives and children who were going to school, so it was a very difficult moment for me. The income was too bad. The income that I get from the online cannot be compared to the hard copies where you can carry advertisements. So it was a serious economic losses to me, and it affects my family a lot.
And during this period, did you have any members of your family or any member of your family who became a journalist?
Yes. Even prior to that, one of my sons, Boubacar, was with me at the News and Report, who later traveled to US. But then at the latter part, my eldest son, Ibrahim Janko Ceesay, followed my trade, and I used to send him for coverage for the online paper, and he was doing pretty good for the online newspaper until April 2014, when he was arrested together with Solon Sanden and Co. Because he was following them, he was trying to make reports, and he was arrested.
Was it 2015? 2015? Or 2016, yes, 2016.
It was 2016?
Yes.
Okay, 2016 April. So he was following them, and he was at Westfield when he was arrested together with Solo and others, and subjected to tortures, very serious tortures. Because I was privileged to visit him at Mile 2, and he told me that, see what they have done to me. I said, what? So he opened his mouth, he has a broken teeth, and he took the teeth in the trouser, he pulled it out and showed it to me. I said, okay, keep it there. And he said, I was subjected to serious beating. He said, when they took him to the NIA, they took him to a concrete floor, desk table like this, tied his hands at the back, and then were beating him. And they were telling him, well, you're the son of MADI CEESAY. So your father was a bad journalist, and you are also a bad journalist. So he was subjected to serious tortures. And then later he was detained at Mile 2. He was asthmatic. And then later his conditions aggravated, and he couldn't survive, and he passed off shortly after he was released.
He died?
He died, yes.
What do you think killed him?
I think it's because of the tortures and the cell conditions, because he is an asthmatic patient. And that must have aggravated his asthma, and it got worse and worse day in, day out, and finally he died.
How did the family feel?
It was a shock to the entire family. His mother is in the hall here. His sisters are here. It was too shocking for us, but we have to face the fact. So we have to face the realities. He died, he died.
Who do you blame for his death?
Pardon?
Who do you blame for his death?
Oh, really? I blame the Jammeh regime for his death. Because if he was not picked up and subjected to those terrible tortures and that worsening prison conditions, he would not have died. So I blame Jammeh and his government for the death of my son.
Mr. Chair, I have no further questions for the witness. I hand him over to the Commission for further questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Counsel, and thank you very much, Mr. Ceesay, for your testimony. Commissioners, if you have any questions, please indicate. I don't see any hands coming up. I'm terribly sorry that you had to endure so much just carrying out your profession and things that you thought the country needed them to be made aware of. If you have any closing remarks to make, please make them now.
I would not have much to say, but I would say the media, or the Gambia was a hell for media practitioners during the 22-year regime of President Yahya Jammeh. If any other profession suffered much, I think it's we, the journalists, that suffered a lot, even though the soldiers also have suffered, but it was really a hell for us. We lost our dear ones, we lost our profession. So I would urge this government, if really we want to open a new page, that the draconian media laws should really be repealed so that we can have a clean page, because you cannot have a good democracy if you don't have a vibrant media. The media at the moment really are breathing some amount of independence and freedom. But really we want these media laws to be plucked out of our books so that we can make the maximum use of our profession. And to my colleagues, that is the journalists, that we must be truthful and factual in our reports. We must not be biased if we want to really go to higher heights. Journalism is not all about destruction. It's not about destruction. Journalism is about construction. So my colleagues, we should always report factually, and chairman and council and lead council and other commissioners, this is what I think I can share with the new dispensation and my colleagues, the media practitioners. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed for those very nice, wise advice and the suggestions. Thank you again for coming to testify before the Commission.
Most welcome.
Thank you. We will take a lunch break, slightly longer than we normally do, but we resume our proceedings at 2:30. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Ah, dama ne ana Jambangs Royal Gramo. Tabaski bii di ñëw man Jambangs Royal Gramo laa si taama. Ana jeeg ñi, ana jege maani, ana suma caameñ yu baax yi. Yéen ñi nga xam ne da ngeen am jabar, yéen ñi nga xam ne da ngeen a waaj a sëy si, yéen ñi nga xamante ne ni pare ngeen Tabaski bi mu baax. Daw leen dem seeti Jambangs Royal Gramo. Ak Jambangs Royal Gramo ñu ngi leen fa amal li nga xam ne moom mooy jas na. li nga xam ne moom mooy WhatsApp ana Facebook 20 di daloo ma ne VIP lay wóor man ana borom takay cuubi takkaa ngi nii dama ne dem leen seeti Jambang Royal